Just imagine winning 3 elections. 3! I said 3. Y'all better not come for me. I said 3. Imagine winning 3 elections in landslides and someone calls you a DEI hire, a didn't earn it hire.
Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy. You're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit. He hasn't had he had no political experience whatsoever. He had no business experience. He was given everything that he has. He is a legacy hire. He is, if anything, a DEI hire, a didn't earn it hire.
They ought to walk. No, you're the DEI hire, man. She ought to be sued out her shoes and walked out live on this show in handcuffs. They get into another full-blown fight on the show. These women here. The spew! Not the view, the spew.
Hurt. But I believe in the spirit of this, which is DEI has
action that supports it.
University of Michigan, $85 million in a 5-year DEI plan. The Black Student Union said $85 million was spent, and yet Black students' experience on campus has hardly improved, and enrollment has gone down. So that's one example of saying that
Law School,
it's not just a criticism of diversity.
So we got to get rid of it. Get it down. She on here trying to, oh man, a full-blown fight breaks out, y'all. Once again on the spew, as co-host defends Trump's DEI cuts. Oh boy, we are so back and it feels good. And I got to have fun calling out these cackling hens. I really do. Yeah, ABC. You know, look at Joy over there. She ain't been to sleep. In how long? In 2 months. She ain't been to sleep in 2 months. Yeah, we are so back. We are so back. And look, it didn't got so bad. Whoopi ain't been on set in the last 3-4 episodes after inauguration. It's so bad, man. I tell you, these women are miserable, pathetic. You know, they ought to walk on set and just take everybody off set.
Diversity. It's a criticism of the programs being effective. And the one thing I will say that is, as we push DEI,
womp 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 womp.
That's not what I'm reading. But the point here is that I would also say this all started in colleges and the turning over of affirmative action. I would ask.
Look at it. Yeah, where do you get your information from, Sonny? How's your husband doing, ma'am? They have to put his hands behind his back. And they ought to come get you next for a full-blown investigation. How are you still on the show, ma'am?
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shout out to them beautiful patriots around the world, my brothers and sisters. I hope everybody is blessed, well, and healthy, and that nothing but the best is going on in all you beautiful people's life, man. One love to the human race. Can we say it out loud one more time, y'all? One love to the human race. But we got to get into this. Let me read some of these top comments. Extensionally, Trump is saying we're no longer paying you for telling us we're racist by simply existing. It's about time. DEI was unconstitutional in the first place. DEI is 100% discriminatory and should have never been allowed. All those woke college degrees, DEI stuff was useless and worthless. Remember, DEI is how we almost ended up with Kamala, I don't know what her name is, becoming president. She almost became president. Didn't earn it. Y'all know how I say it? Not qualified, unqualified. I think she was drunk the entire time. Drunk entire inventory. Drunk as hell. Someone says, I'm black and I've never benefited from DEI. This is a win. Someone says, every time Trump signs something, a lefty cries, and I have a great day. Man, that's beautiful right there. I'm so sick of being forced to take DEI courses or face being fired. Good riddance. There it is. Had to read the comments out from the top commenters. It was just a must. Because, you know, it's everybody, man. Blacks, everybody that's talking about this. People that are just sick and tired. And we want to thank you, Mr. President. God bless America. Common sense is back. And if you don't like it, pack your bags. Free country, you gonna get up out of here. Get your passport. Bye-bye. Common sense is back. Yes, indeed. But I couldn't wait to get into this video. Let's go and check it out. And I really do hope everybody's having an amazing day today. An amazing rest of the week. Getting close to the weekend. That y'all crack open a cold one this weekend. Or maybe a hot one. Because it's cold. In a lot of places, it's freezing cold. You know. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, man. Spend time with your loved ones. Do not take time for granted. Enjoy your life. Please, do it for your boy Rick. But let's jump into this, man. We got the spew. And shout out to my brother Greg, man. A lot of y'all sent me this video, said he did an amazing video on these women on the spew. I showed y'all a couple clips in the intro, but these women on the spew are absolute a disgrace, man. You see, Whoopi ain't been on the set in a couple episodes. Yeah, they ought to cancel the whole entire show, remove it off air. But again, it's one of the reasons why we won and why we keep winning. Because we need these, we need this other side to expose the corruption of, and also expose what puts in the spotlight of the truth that nobody wants to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. So this is why we appreciate the people like the spew, the CNNs, the fake news, these crying lefties, these liberals. We appreciate it. All this woke crap. And look what woke has gotten us. Just look what woke has gotten us.
Equity and inclusion staff members are preparing, while federal diversity, equity, and inclusion staff members are preparing to lose their jobs. Yesterday, President Trump's administration moved to end affirmative action in federal contracting and directed that all federal DEI workers be put on paid leave and eventually be laid off. The moves follow an executive order that President Trump signed on his first day, ordering a sweeping dismantling of the federal government's diversity and inclusion programs. Trump has called the programs discrimination and insisted on restoring strictly merit-based hiring. Joining us now, Chief Legal Analyst Kali Frodes. Okay, so obviously some sweeping moves. If we know one thing about President Trump, he is true to his word. But what does this mean for those workers who are on paid leave now and set to lose their jobs?
If this is a step into making America great again, those folks that are American citizens today are going to find out that they're going on paid leave, ultimately losing their job. If you're a contractor contracting with the federal government that offered a diversity and inclusion program, it says it in the order. Guess what? Your contract is cut. Now you no longer have a job. Your staff no longer have a job. So this is going to be thousands of people that work for the government, that are Americans, that are going to be unemployed. So when we talk about cutting $500 billion from the budget, and people are trying to figure out, well, how are they going to do this? Where's it going to be? Well, this is one place. Let's just go ahead and get rid of this diversity stuff because we don't need it. It doesn't make sense, and we don't need it because it's discriminatory, it's exclusion, it's not inclusion. We don't want this, and we don't need it, and let's go ahead and chop it on the second day in office. But you got to, if you don't remember history and don't recognize what got us here, then it's easy to get rid of things like this. Look back to Lyndon Johnson. He signed the executive order in 1965. Why? Because we had a number of civil rights issues that were happening in the country. There was a push to understand that we needed to have a diverse work base that reflected what our country and our community looked like. And so he pushed
1965.
Trump today is signing away, I should say yesterday, signing away all of those years, 1965 to today, signing away those years just in the swipe of a pen.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about more liberal meltdowns, okay? Because they've been boohoo-whining and crying for the last 3 days. And my guess is that they will be boohoo-whining and crying for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So today I was supposed to be leading a training about environmental justice for a national agency, but it was canceled an hour before it started. Why? Well, because the new federal guidelines from the Trump administration ban not only DEI trainings, but also any trainings or programs about environmental justice. And they're not stopping there. These policies go further, rolling back protections for our water, land, opening the floodgates to drilling, silencing those that are fighting for justice in any form. And to make matters worse, they're demanding a list of contractors like me who provide DEI and environmental justice trainings. And to be honest, it's terrifying.
Okay, this is how you know that this country is being made great again. Okay, when you have liberals and progressives and race hustlers boohoo whining and crying on a day-to-day basis,
Make me sick.
that means that
Make me
things
sick.
are getting done, right? Shit is getting done. Okay, and Trump has done a lot, okay, over the last 2 to 3 days. What I want to talk about here today is Trump signing executive orders to rid DEI out of the government. And a part of this agenda is rolling back a somewhat controversial executive order that was established under Lyndon B. Johnson, affirmative action when it comes to federal hiring, okay, hiring federal contractors. Trump says, no, we're no longer going to play the affirmative action game, okay? The Supreme Court, as you guys remember, they recently overturned, they got rid of affirmative action. Now the federal government is following suit when it comes to hiring practices. And liberals, again, they're boohoo whining and crying about something that's honestly probably not going to change that much, okay? What the federal government did, what Trump did in the executive order is essentially he said, listen, when it comes to companies that are working with the federal government, okay, federal contractors, we're no longer requiring that you adhere to racial quotas. Okay, so the government was basically saying, look, if you want to work with us, you got to make sure that you're woke, right? That you are addressing any type of racial, gender, or sexual disparities within the workplace. You have to live up to our racial, gender, sexuality, equity standards, right? This is essentially what it was, okay? Not only encouraging, again, affirmative action when it comes to federal government hiring, but also when it comes to federal contractors and who they choose to hire, okay? So Trump's executive order is not just meant to rid the government of DEI, but to ultimately rid the country, the culture of the DEI mentality, okay? This mentality that, hey, we should be putting people in positions of power based off their identity, okay? Race, gender, sexuality, etc. Okay, it essentially goes out to private companies as well too, and also it addresses higher education because they receive federal dollars from the federal government in the form of student loans. They're also trying to address that. So Trump's executive order is a broad, sweeping executive order that currently has the left boohoo whining and crying about white supremacy. This is a white supremacist plot, according to the black Democrats and the black bourgeoisie. Take a look.
Listen, we know what they're doing. We saw this movie before. They want to throw so many things at one time and have people just scatterbrained, disillusioned. But I'm not falling for the okie doke. What?
Look at the ghetto congressman. These people, yeah. Oh, again, y'all. Every time I see this lady, man, it's like, ugh, a disgrace, man. A disgrace. Every time I see this lady, I think of all the things she has said. All the white man, the white supremacists. These race baiters, man. I'll tell y'all, man. They kill me, man. For real. Let's continue. Let me stop talking. My bad, y'all.
What this is about, Congresswoman, is they want to attack the money source. They do not want to see black advancement. They want to go after the money, and they're not satisfied with white women getting 78% of the federal NWBE contracts. They want 100%. And those white women are silent. And so folk need to understand. And frankly, Democrats need to understand they got to be a hell of a lot more aggressive in understanding the game being played here.
Yeah, so for me, it is overwhelming for so many people. He operates in chaos and only chaos and confusion. And he consistently hides some of the really big things in the chaos, right? So I appreciate that you're talking about the executive order as it relates to civil rights. And I think it is important for people to understand that Republicans and Democrats alike, including Donald Trump, consistently signed off on this EO. And this time, he decided that he was going to rescind it, right? And so when people are like, oh, well, what is it about immigration? And, oh, what is this DEI thing? And, oh, what is this going on over here? here's the reality. It is all rooted in white supremacy.
Here we go.
And that's what people need to understand. The white supremacy agenda is alive and well. And every single one of these attacks, they are rooted in white supremacy. So unless you are a white man, I don't really know what place you have in this agenda that we see coming out. And by keeping us divided, by having those that understand the importance of affirmative action, those that understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion over here fighting this fight, and then those that are so concerned about their family members and whether or not they're going to be deported, they're over here in this other fight. Instead of uniting us, we need to understand that it's not an attack on just one group. It's an attack on all of us, and it is all rooted in white supremacy. Even this random whitewashing of Jesus and this narrative around Christianity. It is the...
What are we getting from this disgusting woman? Ma'am, just shut up. Just shut your mouth, please. What are we getting from this? And this is why I tell y'all, we will never move forward, man. We will never move forward. Because this all they do all day is cry. We will never move forward, man.
The white supremacist narrative of Christianity, the same one that kept black folk enslaved.
Wow. Incredible stuff. Guys, that is an elected congresswoman, okay? This woman represents a group of people out in Texas. We're definitely not sending our best, okay? We're not sending our best. Could you imagine if a white person had said the things that Jasmine Crotchet just said right on Roland Martin's show, okay? The day that white people are able to say things like that and get away with it, that is the day we will have true equality, right? But until then, it seems as if we won't, because these people are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that we do not achieve true equality, right? Because ultimately, today, this is what it's about. It's not necessary anymore, okay? Affirmative action is not necessary. None of this stuff is necessary. At the end of the day, federal contracts should go to the most qualified, the best people who can do the job. They're probably giving out too many of them anyways, right? A lot of it is bloated in order to try to pump up Biden's job numbers and the fake economy. A lot of stuff has to go, okay? And ultimately, at the end of the day, the best should survive, and everybody should have to compete, and there should not be any type of special treatment based off race, sex, gender, whatever. And you can spare me your stupid history lesson about, oh, we got to do this because black people was discriminated against. Ridiculous. It is necessary because of years of white supremacy. 1965. Been seeing slavery and all. I don't care, right? I don't care. I do not care. I'm gonna tell you something. The only thing these progressives have, okay, to justify this type of stuff, discrimination, right? Racial discrimination, redistribution of wealth, socialism. The only thing they have is, well, we was treated bad historically, right? That's the only thing they have. They don't have anything else outside of that. So again, spare me the sad sob story. It's not necessary. In 2025, we have to move past this, okay? At one point in time, affirmative action may have been necessary, but today is not, okay? You either want equality, equal treatment, right? Or you don't. But these people are showing you every single day, no, we don't want that, right? What we actually mean when we talk about equity, okay, what we actually mean when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion is, yeah, less white, right? Less white. We want to be able to discriminate against white people because we feel as if we should be allowed to take power and control due to the fact that we were historically done wrong, right? This is an argument. This is what it boils down to. Well, we were hurt in the past, so therefore we should be able to hurt these people back. And if you disagree with it, as a black person, you're a sellout, right? And if you disagree with it as a white person, then you are a racist, okay? That's essentially what it comes down to. Yep. So that being said, let's react to the cackling hands on the View who are going to boo-hoo-whine and call racism over this. But there's a twist. Because I got to give y'all a warning. Warning, disclaimer, the spew. The panelists on The View is going to go off script and call out DEI for the scam that it is. And that's when a heated debate is going to break out. So without further ado, let's get into it.
And order the equal opportunity order signed by Lyndon Johnson in 1965. So not only are we now going back 4 years.
He could sue Lyndon Johnson, maybe.
Well, we're not only, he's not taking us back 4 years. Yeah. He's taking us back to 1965 before it was legal for there to be interracial marriage.
That's
in
why
this
it's so
country.
broad. That's why it's so broad.
And look, I would love to think, and I hope that we get there one day. I would love to think that there is no racism by the people who do hirings in the government and in corporations in America. But that is not the case. I would love to think that there is no homophobia, but that is not the case. And I think that by getting rid of this and doing it in such a bold way on day one, what he is doing is giving a green light to people who are racist, to people who are homophobic, to people who are anti-women and think they should be in the kitchen, and telling them there is no consequence to your racism.
But see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about these race hustlers and what they won't tell you is that the boohoo, whine, and crying racism, homophobia, bigotry is never going to end because that's their source of power and control, right?
Keep telling y'all.
So when Anna Navarro comes out here and talks about, well, I would like to live in a world where there's no homophobia and racism and sexism, but we're not living in that world. And it's like, well, the reason why we're not living in that world is because people like you go out of your way to make sure that those things continue to exist and to focus on these things.
We will always go back.
That is how you maintain power and control.
With these people.
Right?
Always.
That's how you maintain power and control. So what they're really upset about when it comes to this executive order is that it is a loss of power for them, right? All of this stuff is a power struggle. This is people who see themselves in an internal struggle for power with the so-called white patriarchal society, right? They see white men as the top of the food chain, and they say, you know what? We have to take power from them, not for the betterment of the country as a whole, because it's not about that, right? If it was about the country, they would have no issues with meritocracy. So again, it's not about the betterment of the country. It's about the betterment of themselves, right? It's about their own wealth. It's about their own power. It's about their own control. It's about their own influence. And that's what it is about, okay? That's what it's about. And the irony here is that this is no different than the ideologies that they claim that they're fighting against. Like, for example, when you talk about white ethno-nationalism, okay, and this idea that, hey, America should be a white-only country and white people should be in all the positions of power and they should control everything. This is just the opposite side of the coin, what these people believe in, people like Anna Navarro and others, okay? A country where you have less white power, right, and that the dominant powers are not white, right? So again, it's really two sides of the same coin, and that's what they don't realize. Meritocracy cuts through all of that. Meritocracy says, hey, I don't care what your skin color is, what your race is, who you like to sleep with, whether or not you like your genitalia. If you're the best person for the job, you're going to get the job. Now, does it always work out that way every single time? No. But the idea is that, hey, let's go ahead and just take out race. Let's take out sex. Let's take out all these other factors, okay, and not worry about that. Let's just focus on the best person for the job regardless of all that, right? But again, they don't want to compete on that playing field. They don't want to compete on that playing field, okay? Because they're fighting for special rights and privileges, right? That's what they're fighting for, okay? They already got equal rights. What they really want, again, are special rights and privileges that put white people at a disadvantage, mainly white males at a disadvantage. That's what they really want, okay?
One of the criticisms against DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion, all great in theory, but the DEI programs have not accomplished things. They've been a bureaucracy of money suck that have not gotten anywhere. When you say people are threatened, what do you think the removal of DEI is going to do to those people? Because a lot of this is...
I can tell you that, because the removal of DEI actually at this point in time,
because they're not going to fire people.
Yeah, they wouldn't fire
the
people
departments
who are
of DEI.
Well, they're not only going to
put them on paid leave.
They put
the DEI people.
officers.
But what I'm saying is all the people that work.
But they also stopped this thing. These ridiculous, what are you
Executive
the executive orders. What they are doing is also eliminating the protections for discrimination in awarding government contracts. And to be clear, that is going to hurt women. That is going to hurt.
But I do believe in this.
Yeah, so again, according to Sunny Holston, right?
I don't know why she opened up her mouth.
Trump is eliminating the protections against discrimination by not allowing discrimination. Right?
I don't even know why she opened up her mouth.
See how this works? Okay, you guys see the mental gymnastics that these people jump through in order to justify racism and discrimination? It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
spirit of this, which is DEI.
But there's action that supports it. The
University
stats
of
support
Michigan,
that.
$85 million in a 5-year DEI plan. The Black Student Union said $85 million was spent, and yet Black students' experience on campus has hardly improved, and enrollment has gone down. So that's one example of saying
Harvard
that
Law School, the
it's not
enrollment of
just a
Black students
criticism
have
of
gone down.
diversity. It's a criticism of the programs being effective. And the one thing I will say that is,
The
as we
stats show
push
that they're very
DEI,
effective.
That's not what I'm reading. But the
She don't
point here
wanna
is that I
hear.
would also
She
say
don't-
this all
she's a
started in
disgrace.
colleges
Just
and
shut up.
the turning over of affirmative action. I would ask that they immediately address
Look at her
legacy
face.
admissions as well. Because if we're talking about the equal opportunity, we need to get rid of legacy admissions.
Yeah, they always bring up the legacy admission thing. And I think they should get rid of that as well, too. Okay. But they only bring that up in response to the affirmative action stuff, right? They don't really care that much about the legacy admission stuff because, I mean, let's be real. A lot of these people, again, they're a part of the bourgeoisie class. This stuff doesn't really affect anybody in real life. Okay. The DEI stuff, again, this is for the bourgeoisie, right? For these people. Okay. The elite, okay. Or the elitists, regular, everyday normal people. It doesn't affect us. Okay. But the reason why they're not really that passionate about legacy admissions is because they benefit from legacy admissions. So they throw out the whole legacy admissions thing as a response to, oh, well, we should get rid of that too, right? If you guys get rid of affirmative action. And it's like, okay, well, you're not really that passionate about it. You're just saying it. Regardless, though, what Sarah is bringing up here is the fact that DEI is a scam. Right, that's what she's saying. And Sunny Holston had a hard time swallowing that pill that those DEI programs don't work. And I don't care what liberal study she has read talking about how DEI programs are so effective. If DEI programs were so profitable and so effective, then these companies would not be running away from them. Okay, you guys remember when Biden's economy basically went into a recession and we had these mass layoffs? The first people that were getting cut were the DEI folks. Okay, they got hired during the pandemic. When interest rates were at an all-time low, we had all this money flowing throughout the economy. These firms didn't know what to do with the money. Everybody was woke. So it's like, you know what? Let's be more woke. See if we can make more money
woke
via wokeness. So they hired a bunch of DEI people. And as soon as interest rates started to increase, aka the cost of money went up, and they had to cut back, the first place they cut from was the DEI departments. Well, why is that? It's because those departments, those positions don't generate revenue. They don't.
Everything woke turns to, y'all want to finish it for me? It's a bad word. Yeah, y'all say it out loud and proud. Yeah.
Probably a black woman who
Let's
Trump
see what he's talking about. Okay.
backlash.
I'm just saying a distinction
Right.
officer, so she's losing
The
her
Civil
job
Rights Division
across.
has been put on
Yeah,
pause
that,
as well.
but that's, I'm just saying a distinction.
Yeah, but
that
he
people are-
is, they are going through a purge department by department. They
Yeah,
are
Doge.
finding out, who might be doing, I mean, they've been asking people in the different federal departments to basically snitch on each other.
Yes.
You know, who's a liberal, who's a Biden supporter,
Wow.
who's into equity,
Yes, they are.
and they have been purging those people, which they told us they were
Wow.
going to do. What's one of the first things
That's
he did?
not 1965. That's 1935.
He
Yes, it is.
fired the commandant, the first woman commandant of the Coast Guard. He did that on day one.
Okay.
A woman,
We
not
got-
because she was unqualified,
We got to go.
because he
We'll
wanted
be right
to.
back.
No, it's because she wasn't doing her job, right? She was very bad at her job. Now, Anna Navarro would know that if she read the story, and maybe she did, but she doesn't care about the truth. They just care about pushing their propaganda and their lies.
Yep.
But ultimately, at the end
That's
of
it, man. That's it. It's a disgrace, y'all. It really is. You know, I'm sorry. We all had to sit. I just want to apologize to them Patriots that we all had to sit through that. And you know, I see it in the comment section. You know, maybe the View wouldn't be alive if you conservatives stop giving them watch time, stop playing them. But you know what? We gotta put a spotlight to this. Because they expose the actual truth, the actual corruption. They expose what things that need to be done. They expose that Trump is actually a great president. But let me know what y'all think of this, man. I can't take no more. I just can't. She done called the man a DEI hire after he done won 3 elections in landslides. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I tell you. Didn't earn it.